It's your girl, Terez Nicole with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, Panther Realty. I'm also a cheer coach or cheer director over with the Ballinger Creek Rec Council at the CMS program and a varsity cheer coach over at Frederick High School. Before we get started, if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube page. We're here with our sixth interview today with Jason Lee from Lee Building Maintenance here in Frederick, Maryland. Jason, in one word, can you describe how you're feeling today?
One word, grateful.
I love it, grateful, grateful. So tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're so grateful.
A little bit about me. Born and raised here in the Frederick area. The business that I own is called Lee Building Maintenance. We own the company, and we are a commercial cleaning company. So what we do is we clean commercial facilities, everything from medical healthcare facilities, manufacturing, and office space. And the good thing is, hey, Lee Building Maintenance actually just turned 5 years old May 1st. Although I've been in the industry now almost 20 years, Lee Building Maintenance is now 5 years old.
Nice. I love it. I love it. And then are you doing any work at any of the hospitals right now with the whole COVID situation?
Yeah, so we do things for the Frederick Health System here, and then we also do some things for Carroll Hospital and LifeBridge, more Carroll.
Okay. I think the ink cut out a little bit, but why did you get into this field?
The cleaning field?
Yep. Commercial.
Commercial cleaning. You know what? Something I knew my parents did years as I grew up, and when I kind of looked at the business, it was something that came to me. I was working for Burger King, and watched the gentleman clean the windows there. And probably after like 5 or 6 years, one time I wasn't so super busy. I watched him. I took time on the front line to watch him clean, and then I went, man, you know what? I think I can do that. And out of that window cleaning experience got me to go out and start cleaning windows and restaurants, and then we got involved in commercial cleaning side. So
Wow, that's
I would say that the business found me. I'll say that.
yeah. So just the wealth of knowledge from your family trickling down in that one moment of you washing the windows kind of turned into a business.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And then, so what should families be doing right now since we're shut down? I know I've been sort of decluttering my house and organizing it. What do you suggest families should be doing to kind of get their houses clean? And I know, what do you think?
I'd say from a residential standpoint, although we don't clean residential homes, we do live in a house. So at the end of the day, we got we are human. I would say that the biggest thing I think is what you just said. I think people are taking the time now to declutter. I think people are taking time to figure out things that they can give away. I think, and I don't know if all the outlets as far as Goodwills and things are open and accepting things at this particular moment. But I think people can at least create the piles and create those areas where they know when things are open and you can kind of go to these centers to drop things off for folks. I think that's something you should definitely do. I think the other big thing as far as in this time is I think you got to have what we call a protocol. In our home, we have one where we're making sure we're taking off shoes and all those things before we hit the door, spraying down our shoes, and then making sure that, hey, our doorknobs and all those other things as we're out and coming back in, kind of having that protocol for your home. I think that is so important, especially for those who, if you're essential as we are, we gotta go out and go to work, and a lot of our staff and so everybody else. But people are still, even if you're not essential, you're still going to the grocery store. You're going to get the things you need. So as you go out, when you come back in, kind of having a protocol for your family.
Great. So I know a few of the concerns is that there's a shortage in cleaning supplies. Are there normal products at home that people could be using?
And I guess your audience you'll probably reach is going to be vast. So I would say, you know, it's probably tough to now, most times you go to a Walmart, Target, anywhere else that most of us shop right now. And you look down the aisle and it's like, man, that thing is just empty. There's nothing there. So when you look at things that I think are cheap and are what we call safe enough for disinfectant, use probably the cheapest thing out there is bleach. CDC even says you could take a basic household bleach. I think it's 1/3 cup of water to a gallon that you can use. The biggest thing when using that supply or that spray, if you're using it, is making sure that it stays on wet for about a minute so that it can do its thing as a disinfectant. Um, and then the other thing I would say is if you do have the pleasure of being able to go out and buy your your disinfectant on the market, look on the back of the label to see what the full time or the dwell time on the back of wet time. Some things maybe most average is going to be about 10 minutes sitting, but make sure you read that label that makes sure it's a disinfectant that you're using, not what we call all-purpose cleaner. I think get real technical when we get into certain marketplaces, but when we're talking about just everyday use at home, I would say if you don't have a whole lot and you can't find it, but you still have some bleach, which is still pretty cheap, mix 1/3 cup to a gallon of water.
Great advice, great advice. And I know I was at the grocery store 2 days ago, and when I went in there, I seen some empty shelves. I was at Walmart, and I was like, wow, this is real.
Oh, I'm telling you, I mean, you think about toilet paper and what things that we can look at as basic necessities. Are people hoarding? I don't know. But at the end of the day, demand can't keep up, and it gets a little frustrating. But I think at the end of the day, I think you got to plan accordingly of who's going to go to the store, when they go to the store. I always say the early bird gets the worm. Sometimes it's got to happen now.
Exactly, I agree. What are some challenges or wins that you're seeing out in the community or in your business?
Um, I'd say let's start with the community. I think that there's challenges. I think from the business community right now is a lot of folks who are deemed, are they essential or not? I think they would like to open. I think the challenge is it's like anything else. I mean, they're losing money. So that's their livelihood. That's what of them and their staff. So the challenge is, hey, when can we open? I don't think it's even back to a normalcy. Like, I think people know that, hey, we just can't have 100 people in our store or 50 people in our store. But the key is, hey, when can I open? I think the win in our community is, definitely, I think we always look at our first responders and what's happening. I know we're at ground zero daily. And it's neat to see, man, just the first responders, man, just out there doing their job and doing it fearlessly. I look at our staff and say, hey, we're like the second responders, cleaning staff. They're doing their job fearlessly. But I think the big wins as well in the community, and it's kind of, folks who are out here trying to make sure doing food drives, things like that. Those are big wins. And I'm gonna give a shout out, if you don't mind, to this is another community person, a young fella named Ajay Hill, IBM, I Believe in Me. Man, he is pulled a lot of the business community, Food Pro, Dairy Made, Starbucks. I mean, he's pulling all these people together to make sure people have food. I mean, we think when the economy is kind of slowing down, and although people may be waiting on their stimulus checks, they may be waiting on their unemployment whenever they get that. A lot of people haven't gotten that, in many weeks. People haven't worked. When you have folks like him in the community who are stepping up and trying to make sure people have food, those are big wins in our community. And I think we got to applaud and take it.
I agree. I'm happy you mentioned that because I actually reached out to Aja to see if he can come on and talk to the community as well, because he is doing really good things in the community as well as partnering with other agencies. I saw
Definitely.
he gave, I believe, took lunch to the hospital staff as well as took I think, toys or things to families. So he is doing really great things in the community, and those small things are making a huge difference in some families' lives. So
Well, I'm telling you, they are. It's just big that, through him and his organization, the people around, the companies, the businesses that are stepping up as well to give through their organization. And again, there's other organizations as well, but we highlighted him because I just know, man, I've seen it multiple times of, man, he's in different places. I think recently they did something on social media. They were at Stauffer Funeral Home doing the food, people coming through. So again, you got to follow these folks.
yeah, Aja, he's really changing the dynamic of our community. I know he did something with the mommies and the son dances.
Yep.
You
Yep.
you normally see the daddy daughter dances. So when I saw that, I said he is making a movement, and I am super excited and proud, of him. He's really doing some good things. So I did reach out to him, and hopefully we can interview him as well.
Yeah, I hope he gets on.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And then, what have you been doing to stay focused, during or engaged during this time?
Man, you know what? I gotta say, from my perspective, there's many meetings I'm a part of, just from a business perspective, and how we're trying to engage with our customers, engage with our employees. So I'm very busy with that. Not only that, I've been involved as with the Chamber of Commerce here.
Absolutely.
We're also trying to figure out ways to help with things within my own industry. I've been on town hall meetings with it's called the BSCI, Building Service Contractors Association International. We've had town hall meetings every Thursday, on this platform, the Zoom platform. Just trying to get the latest and greatest. What ways can we navigate? When this thing first hit, it's like anybody else. From a business perspective, it was like, okay, what are we getting ready to do? How do we navigate something that none of us have ever gone through? We keep talking about this new normal, what this looks like. What is it? So a lot of that, my time has been spent there, as well as I'm a part of a CEO group. Vistage it's called Vistage. Ed Robinson is our chair. One thing I got to say too, when this hit, being able to have a group of business people that we've always been together. I've been a part of it like the last year now, but being able to get back with those folks that you've worked with and bounce ideas off of, being able to spend the time with them as well. And we're all in different industries, but we have the same issue. How are we dealing with this from a customer, employee, community standpoint? And that's where I've been getting, I say, good information, been able to, get what I can to be able to hopefully keep my business running and keep things going. So.
And hopefully safely. Have you done anything? Because I'm sure before this COVID pandemic hit, you probably could go into an office or a place to clean it without without gloves or face masks or so forth. Are you doing anything to protect yourself?
Well, yeah. Well, I think from a staffing standpoint, we were always, at anything, you always had gloves. That was the bottom line. In certain areas, we'd have to mask if we needed to previously, but 99% of the time, it wasn't that. It was mainly your gloves. That was your PPE. Now PPE is consisting of masks everywhere, and not only that, not only for us, but now you got everybody trying to get some, and so there was a shortage. We saw with the health systems going through, that they couldn't get PPE, IVEX suits, gloves, basic masks. Those things were just tough to come by, and so I think as a supply chain has gotten a little interrupted, I think we are doing our best to try to stay on top of that. Make sure we order. Even from our distributors, say you used to order 10 of something, doesn't mean you're getting 10 today. You may only get 2. You may only get 1. Times that you may not see it that week. You got to figure it out. So we had to definitely adjust to the safety protocols a little bit more. But one thing I feel good about in our industry is that these are something that we've been practicing all along. The new piece now is just, wearing your mask everywhere, or more, if you had to go in any store, those things we just had to worry about when we were in certain spaces. A little different.
Oh, it's definitely a little different. I think it's a lot different because even when I just walk out to get the mail, I'm putting the mask on, or opening the mail 24 hours later, or opening my packages outside the house and then putting everything in recyclables. Just trying to be a little more cautious. Whether it's doing too much or not, I'd rather be safe than sorry here.
Hey, I won't ever judge you on that one. I think seriously, everyone's going to have their different preference. I think we definitely need to do our best to follow what CDC says. I think as things roll out and we see new stuff evolve, I think we just got to stay and be watchful. I'm not going to come on and tell somebody, hey, you're spraying down your Amazon box. You know what I mean? I mean, trust me, I get it. Hey, everyone's got to feel comfortable in how they're operating. So, nothing's crazy.
I agree. Have you been reading any books?
I say I have. Matter of fact, I have two. So I'm gonna see if this comes up. So this is one.
Okay.
Abe's final masterpiece. It's something. So we're reading this book in our visits as a group. So I'll continue to do that. I am not always a big book reader. I'm more of a quick periodical business. I glance everything from Forbes, Entrepreneur, Black Enterprise. Like I'm more of an article quick guy. I'm not more of somebody who probably going to sit down and just going to probably read it. If I read a book from cover to cover, it's got to be a good book. So and I'll say this one. This is another one that I'm like, called The Outward Mindset.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? This is by the art. Make sure I say this. Arbing Institute. But this book here has been pretty good. I mean, I've been glancing. I do things in snippets, but it's been pretty good about just organizational mindset, your mindset. And I'm glad I actually started reading that book previously because, kind of when this thing hit, I tell everybody, you can either put your head in the sand and think the world's falling apart, or you can go to where the lion's roaring. And I'm usually one that's going to run to where the lion's roaring. But I also, although I'm running there, I'm trying to run there with a plan, trying to figure out what do I do when I get close. How do we handle it? And I think it's okay to be scared. I tell everyone it's okay to be scared. It's okay that this is a different time for everybody. Where if you're a business person, what you thought you could do to kind of control sales or control things. And this is, boy, you learning that this is out of your control. Like, you got to kind of sit back and, depending on where your faith is, you got to kind of sit back and go, okay, what I thought I used to do X, I can't do it. It's not working. It's because guess what? The world slowed down. And what people were buying today, they're not buying. What they're going to spend tomorrow, they may not spend. So you got to understand how you may have to change some things, how you may have to remarket, just to be prepared. So, I'm glad I was starting to kind of read that book about it.
Yeah, and another thing I think people have to do is reinvent themselves at this moment as well. So all of those things you just pointed out are extremely important. And I think for the household, including myself, what we have to do is, look at our budgets and see what we don't necessarily need and cut back as well. Because, like for instance, cable is extremely expensive. And a lot of people are home right now, but do you really need to pay $200, $300 a month for cable? Can you cut it down until things pop back up? So I think we just need to make those adjustments. And this is what the whole Local Life platform is about, because you gave some really good information that I hope touches someone who sees this interview, and they could be able to reinvent themselves if they want to start a new career or new profession or their own business, whatever it is. Now is the time to kind of reinvent yourself and make that possible. So for sure, thank you for sharing all of that information. What advice can you give families right now on how, other than what you did, how they could be dealing with this pandemic right now?
Man, I think this is a time that, again, I think I said a little bit was that you got to lean on your faith. Whatever you believe, you got to lean on that um, more than you probably have. And I think we see it. I mean, it within the commercial ads and everything else that, hey, people are, it's like a little slowdown to kind of go, hey, let's reflect here a little bit. I think you got to take the time to do that with your family. And again, I could be speaking to an audience that everyone has different age group of kids. Well, with their just you by yourself. But look at that faith. The other thing I would tell you is enjoy the time you have with your family. I mean, we're all in our. I mean, I even said, when's the last time we've been home this much? And I'm not like someone who's like I'm hunkered in all the time. I mean, I'm out every day. Um, there's, I can't say like Sunday or something like that, depending on what it is. If I have to go, I have to go out. But when have we all been home at this time, all the time with our families, and there's nowhere to go, or there's not a sporting event, or us guys, I don't want to say it like us guys, but guys and gals who, you know what, man, at 8 o'clock, if the game was coming on, we're watching the game at 8 o'clock. But hey, we already seen that game at 8 o'clock. So this is a time for us to enjoy our families. Probably the most time I think we've probably been around the dinner table in 2 months than we probably have been in years. Um, that we're able to share those things. So those are the things I think we got to embrace and enjoy during this time. Now, here's the second side, because I know there's also a painful side in this. People have lost some loved ones in this situation. I know that. I mean, I can't say I have personally to this, but I know just extended people right next to me who have lost loved ones in this thing. And here's the difference of that is, man, you know what? You can't even really mourn the way you want because most of them can't have a certain amount of people come to a funeral. You look at loss right now in the pandemic, it's totally different. Um, but this is where I think you got to hold back on your faith. You got to understand that, hey, when this thing will open up again, it will, that you can do some celebration of life for some people in a major way. Never forget about those folks. But you also got to think about the loss. And then lastly, I would say is definitely get some time where you can spend on what we're doing, like Zoom, man. I mean, think about it, we all used to travel and see our families. I'm probably like you. Our families all over the country. Some are out of the country. And guess what? What we want to do is we used to, man, get on a plane and by now I have to visit a couple of people. We can't. So guess what? Man, create a Zoom meeting or whatever platform you can, FaceTime, get on and talk to family, see how everybody's doing, reconnect. The power of technology too is being able to do like what we're doing here. Be able to get on and see each other face to face and really talk about what's going on and be honest about what's happening. If your kids are age appropriate, be honest and tell them what is going on. How are you feeling? Because they're looking at you like, Dad or Mom, I'm running. They're used to going, and it's like their world stopped. Or if they were going to graduate high school this year, or have their sporting event, man, like everything stopped. I think we just got to be honest as grown-ups and talk to our families, talk to our kids, and let them know that hey, this too shall pass. We're gonna be okay. We'll come out of this thing a lot more resilient than we can.
That's actually true. And the good thing is we had these pandemics or these shutdowns where everybody had to shelter at home in the past. And when we had those, we didn't have all of these social outlets. So the good thing is that today there are so many social outlets that still keep everybody connected to where they don't have to be so anxious that they're home alone because they have this connection, whether it's Google Hangouts or Zoom or Facebook even. We actually just mailed out, and we're also doing it on Facebook, a COVID time capsule. And that time capsule is phenomenal because it's just a packet, but what it does is it helps you document this moment to where 10 years from now, 20 years from now, you can look back and see what you were doing, like Aja Hill. What are you doing in the community? Who was with you? What interview your parents, a letter to your parents. I mean, it's phenomenal because that is going to help people look back in a manner to where it's documented. So if anybody needs one of those packets, definitely reach out to me. I can get it out to you. And we have like a little competition associated with it where it's like a $25 Amazon gift card for like the most creative package. So it's pretty awesome. But Jason, so in whether it's one word or if you want to close us out with something motivational, let's have it.
Now, I would just say, just stay positive. Do what you got to do. I think I'm not big on quotes or cliches, but if anything, I'm somebody who says, man, you know what, get up and go do what you got to do. I think in this time, we got to get out here and do what we got to do. We got to be safe. We got to be cautious. We got to do all those things. But man, if you can help your fellow neighbor, you can help your fellow family member, please get up and do. Try to do what you can do, just to help the next person. So again, I want to tell you, Terez, thank you for having me today. When you reached out, I know we don't always get to talk all the time, but again, I appreciate you, and I appreciate what you're doing in the business community, helping folks, find homes and find their treasure. You're doing a good job, and you've done well in the community. Seriously, thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you. Again, guys, don't forget to subscribe and share with others so others can also subscribe and we can make these community connections. Thank you again, Jason, for joining me. Hopefully, once this pandemic is over, we can go grab some lunch.
That'll be good. I'm in.
Awesome. I'll talk to you later.
Take care.
All righty.